Let's go, Celtics live postgame. It wasn't easy. It almost gave us a heart attack, but we got another Celtics win, making it a couple in a row, which at this point in the season seems like something that we're not seeing very often, but thank God Danny Ainge drafted Jayson Tatum. Guy came up clutch with two like acrobatic layups in the absolute crunch time. And we do have another win. Let's hit the applause again. Another sound drop that we're working on the board here. But yeah, Celtics take the win, 111-110 over the Wizards. And like I said, it went back and forth. Almost gave me a heart attack. It was typical Celtics, like of this season, if we put this season in a nutshell. Typical Celtics. They got the lead against the bad team, but here we go again. They're about to blow the game. And they almost did. They almost blew the game. But Jayson Tatum said, nope, I'm just going to win this one. Guys, you cool if I win this one? And we're all like, yeah. So let's get into the box score, then we'll get to some chat. We have a Celtics win. Before we do that, I'm going to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. That's the way the Celtics keep winning. We keep getting more and more subscribers, then all of a sudden the Celtics start winning. I'm telling you, it's a formula for success. So if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. If you're on Periscope or Twitch, make sure to head over to YouTube, the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel, and subscribe there. Like this stream right now for the Celtics win, and turn on the post notifications so you get notified when we're live after every single Celtics game. Now let's get to the box score here. Jayson Tatum, 31 points on 55% from the field. The three-point shooting, all right, we're not going to talk about it. It's a positive night for Tatum. He finally didn't look like overly tired, didn't look terrible. He did his thing out there. 31 points, 8 rebounds from him, 4 of 4 from the line. I would like to see him get to the line more, but we got a win to talk about here. Kemba Walker right behind him, 21 points, 42% from the field, 43% from 3, got to the line 5 times, made 4 of them, and he had 8 assists. And then we had Daniel Theis. I'm telling you, we're gonna switch to the player of the game in a second. Daniel Theis was this close to winning player of the game with 20 points and 9 rebounds. When the Wizards were coming back and taking that lead, Daniel Theis had big bucket after big bucket. But with those clutch shots at the end, we have to give player of the game to Jayson Tatum, the first guy this year to win it multiple times. If you're new here, we've just started this player of the game recently, so that's why there's only one person that's won it twice. But Jayson Tatum with his 31-8, taking the Celtics live postgame player of the game. Let's get into some chat. We got a dub to talk about. And we do have a victory beer. We're just sipping on, I don't even know what this is, to be completely honest. But we're sipping on something. It's a Sunday. I'm not going hard. No shotguns tonight. If you missed Friday's stream, we shotgunned live on stream, but just sipping on something tonight. Let's get to some of the chat. Kylon saying, let's go. D-Money saying, let's go. Greg says, Tatum got that clutch team, but Matisse should never be allowed to try and guard Bradley Beal again. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But Theis did have some big buckets. Gear says, I'll take it. J-Max says, Tatum. AC says, Wizards announcers are making excuses for Bradley Beal slipping. Tatum attacking the hoop, though, was the difference. I mean, that was weird, and I'm not going to lie. I'm really shocked that Bradley Beal didn't get the call there. I'm absolutely shocked Bradley Beal did not get the call there, being completely honest. Like, I don't think it was a foul or anything like that, but very seldom are you not going to get that call. So the Celtics definitely got lucky there. I'll be completely honest. And the only reason we're happy tonight is because it's a win. There's so many things wrong with that game. So many things, but they got the win. J-Max says defense is trash. AC saying Theis was sensational. Chris says Tatum called game. Steven saying Tatum slander won't be tolerated anymore. Yeah, I mean, hey, he looked like he was kind of coming out slow, and then he had a second quarter for the books. I mean, it wasn't like a historical second quarter, so I guess I shouldn't say that. It was a good second quarter, and he just got going. Like, that looked like the Tatum we need, and that's the guy that if we have, we can whoop up on the Knicks, on the Wizards and stuff. As long as we have a second guy like Kemba going for, 20+, this team's built to beat the bad teams, regardless of trades or anything like that. But, and without Jalen tonight, too. It's good all around in terms of who stepped up and when. Nate says, this is extremely rocky, but it's a dub, and Kemba is back. Yeah, Kemba just looks good, guys, right? Like 2 games now, and again, even if you take away what was the 14 points in the loss, right? If you take that away, he's probably averaging 22 a game in the last X amount. I don't know. Tatum's looking good lately. AD says this is a winning streak. Sadly, this is a winning streak. It's only 2 games, but based on how the Celtics have been playing, it's a damn winning streak. Sergio says, I thought that shot went in, actually showed some fight in the end. Now, I agree. They fought, and the thing is, they fought, and then, they came out of the hole. Usually they dig the hole big enough to not come back in, and there was that the hole never really got that large, and that's why I was giving some props to Tice. If you guys missed it, when the Wizards were coming back and absolutely, starting to go off and look like it was over, Bradley Beal's doing the airplane over to his bench and stuff, Daniel Tice had big buckets. And, maybe it was 5, maybe it was 7 points. I don't know. But Daniel Tice definitely came up clutch there. Abdul says, man, oh man. Tatum AC says, I blacked out when Beal's shot went up when it came to. I had a vision of another F shotgun. Not tonight. We're just sipping. Jason says, I would love to see Robert Williams in the last 6 minutes of the game. Donovan, this theme is giving me gray hair. I mean, yeah, my hair, I feel like my hair is messy right now. I don't know. It's probably because I'm freaking pulling it out all game. Dean says 2 in a row. Raisin says Bradley Beal's about to murder us like Gallo and was about to murder us like Gallo and Doncic did. Ubi saying, I wouldn't say the Wizards are bad. They've been on a tear as of late, but can't believe we almost lost. I think the Wizards are bad. They are. They're just hot right now. So right now, I guess I can't say that to your point, but they're bad. You know what I mean? Like a week and a half ago, the Celtics started their hot streak. The Celtics were like, oh, wait, yeah, let's lose to them. And then the Wizards were like, okay, we can beat good teams. Good teams. So the Wizards are bad, but they're playing hot. But fair. Nate says, let's give the Wizards credits. They're 7-1 and most defeated in the clutch games. Yeah, like I think they're still, you look at that roster, they're starting Mo Wagner, like Garrison, whatever the hell his last name is. It's not a good team, but yes, they're playing hot. I'll give them that. Sergio says you can tell the competition with his boy Beal fuels him. It does, yeah. J-Max saying shotgun maybe on the Friday wins. I told you guys, that's not going to be a regular thing. Damn. Ian says, been a Tice hater for years. He's been improving every year and is more consistent. Solid number 2 big. That is where I would put him too. Like Daniel Tice off the bench is perfect. Tonight obviously looks like a starter. 20-9. You take that any day of the week. But Daniel Tice would be perfect as a second big for this team. That's what it comes down to. Like the fact that Tice is starting, he's not always going to go for 29. He's going to do his job, but he can hurt you. We saw it in the playoffs last year, but this is not a night to rag on Tice whatsoever. He played really, really well. Let's see. God-fearing saying this is Tatum. This is what Tatum's got to do to get off my soft list. Jenna saying Celtics won. Gear saying wish we saw Neesmith. How about this? All right, I'm going to get to the chat, I promise, but I pulled this up. So crunch time, right? Late in the game. I don't mean to bring negatives into this, but late in the game, we saw Grant Williams check in and play for a while, and he played 5 minutes and had a -6 in the plus-minus at a very crucial time. If we flip over here, this is Grant Williams, and I guess you could say his last 5 games, more or less the Celtics' last 5 games, because he's only played in 2 of them. 0 points, 1 personal foul, 1 turnover, a half a block, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Nothing, right? This is Aaron Neesmith in the same time frame. 5 points, 3 rebounds, a half a steal. Like, where are these rotations going that all of a sudden Grant Williams hasn't played in a million games, but he just pops into the game in a crunch time? Like, what is this? Why do we go out of our way to try and play Grant Williams? The guy sucks. Why do we keep trying to play him? I don't understand, especially when you have guys like Robert Williams, Neesmith, guys that are actually, providing and getting better. Like, I just don't understand it. But Celtics got the win. I don't need to get any redder than I am. Speaking of red, hit that subscribe button. We just passed 300 subscribers last stream. Hit that subscribe button, but I don't need to get any redder than I am. We got the win. Michael says, it's a good win for the Celtics. Still upset Brad didn't play Neesmith. Perfect timing. Looney Tunes, I know we gave up the lead, but Tatum took over. He looked great. Yeah, and that's the clutch gene right there. That's Tatum saying, guys, I'm not losing this game. Have you heard the media talk about us? I'm not losing this game. Jen is saying, actually gave up on the game. These games are the games they normally blow. Yeah, they just won against the grain today. It's like finally they're like, wait, we can win these games that we blow the lead. We just have to not blow the lead fully. New says, we talk about not missing Tice, but he's invaluable in the pick and roll. He and Kemba saved us. Yeah, I know. I say that all the time, that we wouldn't miss Tice if he went to another team, and I don't think we would. I'm not a Tice hater. Like, play the tapes. I love Tice for what he is. I do think if he goes somewhere else, we probably wouldn't think about him too much, but this is a tough game for me to say that. Like, I can own that. Like, I'm not trying to shit on Tice tonight. 20 points, 70% from the field. Like, hell yeah. Sign me up for this Tice every game, and I will never say that we're not going to miss him. Greg says, Grant's so bad he shouldn't get any minutes. Ben saying, nice win, but I'd rather not lose the lead. That's fair and correct, but we got the win. I feel like I always have to battle that demon in my head of like, hey, we got the win, but so much went wrong, and there's so many glaring issues on this team. But still, hey, we got the win. CS says, I don't understand Grant Williams instead of Neesmith. It's like Brad looks at the bench and says, oh, Grant hasn't played in a while. Get in there. Like it's rec league. No, it's like kindergarten basketball. And he's worried that Grant Williams' parents are going to say, hey, why aren't you playing my son? Brad Stevens like, Grant, go. It's nuts. All right, guys, we're going to skip ahead in the chat just a little bit to stay more recent. If I missed your comment, keep asking it. And we'll roll that way. Tommy's saying Beal is insane, but he pissed me off with his showboating with like a minute ago. He thought it was over. He did. 100% thought it was over. He did his little thing. And I love Bradley Beal. He's unreal. He earned his way into the league, was John Wall's number 2. Like, Bradley Beal has put in his time, and he's at where he is now. But the showboating was a little bit early. Bradley. Because the Celtics got the dub. Your boy Tatum said, hey, you don't do the airplane around me. My Wool says, I think Brad Ward's role players too much for stuff they do in practice, and it's making our rotations inconsistent. Inconsistent's the perfect word. I showed those stats. Neesmith, the last 5 games, has been playing really well for what we saw at the beginning of the year. He's improving. 5 points, 3 rebounds. Decent efficiency. Then, in crunch time, in a game that you were in the process of blowing the lead, Neesmith doesn't even see the floor, and you bring in Grant Williams, who literally is getting splinters from the amount of games he's not playing in as of late. And you say, hey, I know you're probably really cold and not used to playing basketball, Grant, but get in there and let's see what you got. And then he goes in there and stinks. He made a 3, right? And that's when I know Grant Williams is going to have a bad game. When he comes in and within a couple seconds, like hits a 3 and everyone's like, oh, let's go, Grant Williams is going to have a good night. I know that that's the sign that, hey, with every good thing Grant Williams does, there's like 10 bad things coming. So when he comes in and immediately does something really nice, I'm kind of like, buckle up. I know what's coming. Gear's saying we have to let Neesmith get hot. I don't know why you don't play Neesmith, especially when you do have a double-digit lead in this game. I'm not saying chalk it, but, I'm not saying put in the garbage guys. I mean, that's what Brad did. But Neesmith hasn't been a garbage guy as of late. He's been the first guy off the bench a couple times. Steven says, Brad did the same thing a couple games back with Grant and Teague. They don't play for 3 games, and then boom, they go in there. Michael says, Grant Williams doesn't belong on a basketball court. BD, did you see Grant Williams slam his head into a wizard, but after his offensive foul? He's the B-ball Mark Sanchez. I mean, he did have the butt assist, right, against Trae Young. AC's, I rarely blame the officials, but tonight was so bad. I wonder privately if the officials are held accountable. That was a really weird call at the end. Like, Bradley Beal gets that called 9.9 times out of 10, but they didn't do it. BP saying Grant did better in the simulation. I don't know if you guys know this. We talked about it on the Tommy Points podcast. I've talked about it before on the show. Brad Stevens runs simulations over and over again, and I know other coaches in the league do it, but I just have the feeling too that Brad Stevens does it way more to get lineups and rotations. That tells me it's a guy that's not looking at what's happening on the floor. I know simulations can go, but they can work. I can say that. But they can only go so far. You know what I mean? I go and play 2K every now and then. I'm 6'8" doing windmill dunks on 3 defenders. That isn't the truth. You can't just trust simulations and technology. You got to see what you got in front of you. Ben says Brad used all his timeouts. Say one nice thing about him. That's fair. And I didn't think Brad Stevens did that bad tonight. I think I'm harping on this Grant Williams playing. This is more me shitting on Grant Williams. Let me say that. The Brad Stevens obviously is the cause of it, but I saw an engaged Brad Stevens for the most part, and that's what I'm always looking for. I got my eye on him on the bench because he's totally in my head now, and he used timeouts. There was no time, even during that lead blowing, where I was like, call a damn timeout, Brad. I didn't see that, so I don't mean to go off on Brad, but it's even in wins, there's issues. You know what I mean? Raisin says, can Semi and Grant just go away? Tommy says, finally a win streak. Kylon saying, Tice, Kemba trade value going up. I don't think they're going to trade Kemba. Tice I could see because he's up on a contract year either at the end of this year or the next 2. But Kemba, the trade, I feel like everyone overestimates how easy it's going to be to trade Kemba. You're trading a guy who I know the value is going up, but you're trading an injured guy, can't play back-to-backs. You're going to have to match the salary coming in from the team for the most part, too. And now you're trading, whether Kemba Walker's playing well or not, you're trading a horse for multiple ponies, and I don't know if I agree with it. But if Kemba's playing like this, we shouldn't want to trade him whatsoever. JMX says, I'm so happy JT won after Beal flexing on him and dancing. AC's Javante and Semi in crunch time. Yikes, this team needs talent and infusion bad. And Semi made that shot, so I can't even rag on him. But how about this? All the starters in the plus for plus-minus, right? And then we have key bench guys like Javante Green. I mean, he started tonight, but let's go down this rabbit hole for a second. -1. Semi Ojeleye, what was he? He was a +1. Grant Williams, -6. Jeff Teague, -3. Peyton Pritchard, -9. Even Robert Williams, -7. Like, that's not a good sign. That says the starters, for the most part, did the job, and every time they went to anyone that wasn't a starter, they started slipping. Jenna says, so once the Celtics win these next 2 games, 40% off the store. Yeah, guys, these things might not be around in a couple games. I literally think there's like 5 left, so go check it out, GuyBostonSports.com/store. It's all over my Twitter. It's in the description of this stream right now on YouTube. But yes, if the Celtics win out until All-Star, so in another couple games, we are doing 40% off the store, which is going to, burn a hole in my pocket. But I love doing it. We'll do it. And I'm not going to even like publicize the discount code or anything like that. We're going to just say it on stream. I maybe pop up a graphic or something, and you guys can hook something up. So I say go get merch now, but I already know you guys are just going to wait another 2 games to see if you can get it for 40% off. So well played. Sergio says, beating the Clippers on Tuesday is the way to make a statement and go into All-Star break hot. CS says, Tyson Rob rotation would look nice. Thompson reminds me of Horford on offense. Bullies his way to the basket and takes an off-balance hook shot. See, I think you're right, but I think Tristan Thompson has done all right for this team. I say it on the stream all the time. You guys give me crap for it. Like, I didn't expect a Tristan Thompson scoring double digits. I expected a double-digit rebounder, and he's averaging like 9 rebounds a game, and he plays better defense than like Cantor last year, who had the rebounding ability. So I think Thompson, Tice, and Robert Williams could all work together. They're all so different. And it just doesn't seem like Brad gives Robert Williams the nod. Oh, but we're managing his hip. What's the hip injury then? I need to see like a tangible evidence of hip injury rather than you saying that's why you're not playing him. Is he missing practice? Is he on a minutes restriction? Like they say they're managing the hip, but how severe is that? You know what I mean? Ian says, C's need as many wins as possible. And, sorry, on the Robert Williams hip management thing, if you're managing an injury, you don't play a guy 17 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you play him 10 minutes here and there, and you don't play a guy 17 minutes that is skying and landing back down on his hip. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems like a weird reason. So I say, take the blinders off, take the collar off, unleash him, Robert Williams start playing more minutes. Ian says, C's need as many wins as possible. If they want Danny to invest in the deadline, these games count. They do. Raisin says, we were like out of the playoffs days ago. Now we're suddenly the 4th seed. That's the East. That is the East. BP, Semi is good for making the minimum. He's a fine 10th man, not a 7th. Totally agree. It's a good point. Don't know why the fans hate on a minimum player who plays good defense, doesn't make mistakes. He's no Grant. The reason fans hate on him, and I've hated on him, is exactly your first sentence there, BP. Because he's a fine 10th man, not a 7th. So Semi falls victim to the hate that gets cast on the building of the team. Does that make sense? So sure, I don't hate Semi Ojeleye the player like I hate Grant Williams the player, right? But the fact that Semi Ojeleye is the 7th man, he gets the blowback. He gets the explosion from fans because, he's in that position. So it's a tall task for him, and it's not fair to him, but that's where the, shitting on Semi comes from, just being completely honest. Kale says he's late. Nick says Bradley Beal smiling more than Kemba pissed me off. Gear says this is why we drafted Nesmith. Tommy says way to finish the game as well. Really like Brad's plays at the end. He could have forced them down by 3, but that was good coaching. Yeah, like I said, Brad Williams. That sounds like a disaster. Wasn't there Brad Williams a while back in the league too? Maybe Kings. I don't know if I'm making that up. But Brad Stevens, for the most part, I think coached a good game. He was involved in the game. If you guys haven't been tuning into the streams, you got to start doing what I do. Now that you hear me say it over and over again, watch Brad Stevens on the sideline, especially during a lead. Look for him engaged and talking to his players, and he was tonight. When something didn't go their way, he was yelling at the refs, and that tells me that Brad Stevens watches these streams. No, it tells me that Brad Stevens understands that, no, he might not be the motivator, he might not be the howler, the guy that yells at the refs, but he is able to, work on that and maybe fire up his team a little bit, and he's doing it. All right, we're skipping ahead in the comments just a little bit, too, to keep up here. AC says, update, Scott Brooks on the post-game interview. I should have called a timeout before Beal slipped. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Nick says, lucky win, almost pulled my hair up. That's why my hair is so... I feel like I keep saying my hair is messy, but... Hey, but I do think that win it was back to the Beal thing. The Celtics got lucky. Celtics got a little bit lucky because that is a foul. And I don't even know if it was. Like, I know the replay, Tatum's hand was on his back. I'm not saying if it was a foul or wasn't a foul. I'm saying that gets called a foul so much. For everyone just tuning in, this is probably an obvious one. It was almost Daniel Tice, but we did roll with Jayson Tatum for the player of the game. Second time he's won it this year. 31 points and 8 rebounds for him. And as I say, player of the game, if you are new here, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. If you're watching on Periscope, head over to YouTube. I see a lot of Periscope comments tonight. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to make the Celtics win. If you hit that subscribe button, it's like a guaranteed extra 2 points next game. And if everyone hits the subscribe button and likes the stream, we'll throw in an additional point there, all of a sudden the Celtics team scoring 200 points a game. That's just a fact. Nate says, just letting you know the merch store link is faulty in the YouTube description. I think you might need to update it. All right, that's good to know. I don't know if I'll do it this stream, but all right, well, GuyBostonSports.com is the way to go. Colin says, I still hate our offense. We need to create easy three-point shots more often. I don't hate the offense because, especially tonight, when Tatum and Kemba were able to make the shots when they needed to, right? So that's where I don't jump to hate. But when they're not making those shots, that's where the offense lacks, because all of a sudden we're relying on Tatum and Kemba and even Jalen to some degree just creating these shots for themselves. They need to have, when that's not working, move the ball around, work it. They had 25 assists tonight. I feel like that's far above their average. I always see them around like 18. So they were moving the ball. But to your point, like it took a couple huge shots, multiple shots from Tice, from Tatum. Kemba had a couple. He did have that miss at the end, but it took some big shots to get them back over the hump of this game. Sergio says, am I dumb for thinking PJ Tucker doesn't make this team that much better? I think he just is an upgrade over some guys. Like, I don't see why it would hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm on board with PJ Tucker. Like, I don't think he would hurt this team at all. He's going to be cheap, so why not take the flyer on him? Ian says, should trade Kemba for multiple ponies, need depth, not star scoring. I think this team needs star scoring. I think they obviously need depth too, but guys, the minute you have Tatum and Brown, either not one of them not play or one of them have an off night, you need the star scoring. I'm telling you, I get the whole trade Kemba because he's a scorer. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't play back-to-backs right now. But if there's anything this team showed us, that they need to be able to go to that third guy. Because on nights where Tatum or Brown, one of them isn't playing or one's not playing that well, or they're both not playing well, it's going to be tough. And we got 20 from Tice tonight. That's great. But it's going to be tough. I don't think you trade Kemba for depth, and that's just my 2 cents. But I think Kemba's got to be shutting up the haters lately. It shows when he plays well, when he gets a lot of points, the Celtics win. It's not rocket science. Gear says Brad Stevens' burner is in the stream. Nate says, how do you feel about the Andre Drummond rumors that came out yesterday? If they get Andre Drummond, I'm okay with it. I think he instantly becomes like your best true big man. And I don't think it would hurt this team. Again, I think the money isn't the concern here, because if he gets bought out, then have a new contract on the table type of thing. I think his contract as of right now, I don't know if I would pull the trigger on it, obviously. But I don't see the harm in Andre Drummond. Like, people say he wouldn't work here. He doesn't fit this chemistry. Andre Drummond can fit on any NBA team, because all he's going to do is try and get as many rebounds as possible. He's not going to score the points here. I get that. He's not going to be as good as he was back in Detroit, for example. But I think that all of a sudden, you start to taper back minutes from Tristan Thompson and Tice combined. You have Andre Drummond, Robert Williams, and then maybe one of those other two bigs. I think you have a better big man core. And that's me, who isn't even that big on Andre Drummond. Like, I don't love Andre Drummond, the player. But I think, if we're saying no to Andre Drummond, it's because we're riding a high of a win tonight. Like, I think Andre Drummond could make this team better. And I get a lot of people don't think that's the case, but still. News says, hard to listen to all the complaints about Brad not playing Rob late in the game. Dude was getting destroyed on the pick and roll. He is very lazy with his feet, both on offense and defense. Don't hate me. I don't hate you, but I think that Robert Williams is never going to get good at those situations without getting in there and playing. And this is a different type of game, so I'll give you that. Daniel Tice was balling out, huge in the crunch time. They're blowing the lead. This might not be the time you say, hey, Robert Williams, get into the fire and learn. So that's fair. But I think that this is something we've seen multiple times, regardless of the situation of the game, where Brad Stevens just isn't playing Robert Williams. So that's where my take comes from, News. You're probably right. Wasn't having the best game. Wasn't really doing much. He had a couple nice lobs that he caught, whatever. That's just standard operating procedure for him. But maybe this wasn't the type of game, but I think overall this season we've seen that a decent amount. AC says, Jalen's knee going to be an issue moving forward? It seems like it might. I don't know. He's missing games for it, and knee soreness, tendinitis, all that stuff. I feel like that's not that little of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, that could be scary. Hopefully it's not, but it could be. Chris has liked the stream for another Celtics W. I mean, everyone that liked last game's stream contributed to this win. It's an extra point every time you like the stream, an extra 2 points every time you subscribe. So, no brainer to me, unless we got some Sixers fans and, Brooklyn fans and Lakers fans in the chat that really, really want the Celtics to lose. That's why you're not subscribed. That's the only reason I could think, though. If you're watching this right now and not subscribed, I feel like you're just a Sixers fan, or I don't know, maybe just like an independent Ben Simmons fan. Oh, sorry, I just threw up my mouth a little bit. Let's see. President Paul Michon saying the shelf in the back doesn't look level. It is. I think it's just the camera. Trust me. I leveled those multiple times. And Sean, I'd like to see your shelves. Raisin saying PJ Tucker is an upgrade over Grant 100%. Yeah. Greg says, I want Green off this team. He just bothers me for some reason. He doesn't bother me, but it's another example of how thin this Celtics team is. Jaylen Brown's out, right? So let's start Javonte Green. It's like, what? We have to pull a guy that, didn't even know what basketball was, or no one knew he played basketball a couple years ago just because Jaylen Brown's out. That's the issue of this team. Jaylen Brown's out, and it's all of a sudden like, Green, go. CS saying, I feel like there's so much help. D leaving shooters open to 3. Late game, doubled Lopez. A lot of people giving Westbrook a wide open 3, which he actually made. Yeah, the defense has got, and that's something they've been really, really good at for years. That sort of rotational team defense. It's why guys like Cantor didn't always get exposed. It's why you can have guys like Isaiah Thomas or Kemba Walker in the defense, because your team plays good defense. But when you're not playing good team defense, the individual guys can get exposed sometimes. And I think Marcus Smart, to be honest, I think he's the anchor of that, communication, being in the right place, right time. I'm hoping, I should say, that changes when he comes back. Greg says, I'm not a Kemba hater. It just he makes so much money that doesn't play back-to-backs and is very inconsistent, and I call him out when he smiles and loses us games by shooting awful. But then Greg, and everyone else in the chat, you got to give ultimate respect or props when he has a 21-8 game and helps them win games. You know what I mean? Now, I think he missed maybe, I would say, 1 or 2 clutch shots here. But when you get 21-8 from Kemba, then I want to see the same. I want to see the opposite of hate. You know what I mean? If you're going to hate Kemba, then you got to love Kemba. It's not like you can hate him down here, be like, okay, he was all right when he plays really well. It's got to go both ways. That's how I see it. Sergio says, I'm so excited to see Marcus Smart back in a couple weeks. I know it's going to be huge, huge, huge. I really do really believe that. Ian saying best third star is an elite scoring 4, Grant or Collins, with passing defender, PG and Robert Williams at the 5. Collins in the playoffs, teams are going to attack our post weakness first. We still need a true rim protector. Yeah, that's why I think, as much as I don't really love Andre Drummond, I think he makes the team better. He's a big guy down low, and he's not like he's just a stiff. He's going to get a bunch of rebounds. So that's why I wouldn't want to pass on it if it's a cheap opportunity. Kylan saying, imagine if we had a player that teams had to double in the post. It would open our offense up 100%. Nate says, I'm loving seeing the sub count grow. We're on the road to 1,000. I'm going to be proud when we're at 100K and 1 mil. Guys, we are growing. We're hitting, we've been doing these streams on YouTube. So obviously we did it on Periscope. We've done it on Periscope for years. But we moved over to YouTube, just a way better system, and I think it's a lot better because we have the video afterwards and whatnot. And in like a month and a half, what's it been, 2 months now? I think we're just over 300 subs. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed. And it's not just me on this channel either. We have Jack, Sam, Tim, and Kenny, a combination of the sorts doing the pregame show. Those guys are really awesome too. They dress up in the suit and tie as a little shtick, and I love it. So go check that out. Pregame for Celtics. And then we're posting videos. We got podcasts on here. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Seriously. Raisin says, is Romeo going to be injured forever? Like, what the? I mean, Romeo, he just sits there, and I've said it before. He sits there on the bench with his little gloves and is like, yeah, I'm just fooling everyone. I'm a lottery pick. They're all going to think I'm going to be really good when I come back, but secret is I'm never coming back. I don't know if Romeo's ever coming back. I mean, I know he had hand surgery. I have no clue what stands. Like, I feel like reporters and whatnot don't check in on Romeo, so no one just knows how long he's going to be out. No one's going out of the way to be like, hey, Romeo, how much longer? I feel like every day, we've been trying to ask how long Marcus Smart's going to be out, and Romeo's like, I got little gloves. Don't you care? No one cares. But we'll see if he makes a difference when he comes back. Gear says Romeo will kick Javonte out of the rotation. Ian saying Celtics can't have 3 big men and their 8 men going to the playoffs. Deadline moves need to fix that. Greg says Cantor is averaging double-doubles for the Trailblazers. I wish we kept him and used him more and didn't sign Tristan. We could use that better bench scorer in free agency. Yeah, Cantor I never thought we used correctly. I thought that, the defensive lapses were overhyped for him. And when he went in, I think he played well. Like, I still remember when he just dominated the Lakers. But I've been pleased with what Tristan Thompson's done. I see what you're saying, Kemba. Kemba, I just called you Kemba. Greg, I see what you're saying. But I think you're more or less saying you could allocate that Tristan Thompson signing and whatnot elsewhere, which is fair. You're saying you admit when Kemba is good, you want it every game. I know. I'm saying most people that hate Kemba wouldn't, they don't do that. They almost ignore when he has a good game. Let's see. Does anyone know why Brad hated playing Cantor? I don't know why Brad Stevens didn't play Cantor. I think it must be the defense. It has to be the defense. But it was so funny because there's games like Grant Williams this year type of thing. Brad Stevens just wouldn't play Enes Cantor. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, he was the exact type of guy. And tell me I'm wrong. Enes Kanter was the exact guy that you could play, and after 2 minutes, you could be like, okay, he's either going to have a good night or a bad night. He was the easiest guy to tell of, okay, he's on, he's going to dominate, or he's going to be a nothing. Why wouldn't you take that chance every night? Play 2 minutes. You don't have to wait, 10 minutes to see if he's going to produce. You play him and say, okay, yeah, he's dominating the boards. Let's play him. Or, okay, he's not doing too much. Defense isn't working. Let's pull him. He was the type of guy I think gets a shot every night, and he wasn't that type of, he wasn't playing like that. News saying Romeo isn't going to be formidable until at least next season. I would bet he gets traded over the summer. Yeah, if he's healthy, that's got to be just such a trade value. Like, that is, I'll say that's a knock on Danny Ainge. If they draft him lottery pick, names have been brought up on the stream over and over again, right? Over and over again. Draft him, doesn't play, plays a little bit, doesn't play. Now puts on these little gloves after surgery, sits on the bench, doesn't play, and then they trade him. It's like, oh boy, that's not the best lottery pick for Danny Ainge, obviously. But we'll see. I don't know. I see a lot of Romeo hype. Be completely honest. See a lot of Romeo hype on Twitter. We got it on the stream too. People believe in Romeo Langford. Do I? Probably not. But not that I don't believe in him, but it's more of like what's the point? Like why I believe in him yet? Like I want to see a little. Like we haven't even really seen a little bit of him. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of Romeo hype though. I can see that, especially in the chat. People say Romeo's going to come back and be a starter for this team and stuff. Which again, don't necessarily agree with. But if they go and trade him after he like barely played for the team, I think it's a knock on the pick. Obviously. Dean says Pritchard's leap and save of the inbounds pass was a hell of a play. A little detail like that was big. Yeah, that was one where I was like, no. And then he made the play and grouped it all together. They got it to Tatum down in the post, and then Tatum with the acrobatic finish. Good call. I forgot about that. Chris saying, can we all agree Kemba's back? Kemba is back, right? He's back. Like, he is going to have games where he's off. Jayson Tatum's off. He had 9 points last game, I think. He's going to have off nights, but the off nights that are now few and far between, I see them happening less and less. Those, now you can't say, oh, he's inconsistent. But what I'll say, and this is, I think Greg brought up this point earlier too, the one thing that I'm still holding on to saying Kemba's back is when he's 100% healthy, playing back-to-backs, not having to even, like, broadcasters having to even mention his knee. That's the one thing I'm holding on to of saying Kemba's back. His play is back. Kemba's back when he's on the court. He is. These duds of games, I think, are going to become less and less frequent. People are going to stop calling him inconsistent. Everyone's going to have bad games, but he's back in terms of play. But until I think Kemba's like back, it's when he can play back-to-backs. Pun fully intended in back. I mean, awesome wordplay there for me. Just saying. Raisin says Greg says, I'm skipping a little bit here. Dean says huge huge Pritchard play. Greg says I would like Oladipo if we re-signed here for 2 to 3 years. Yeah, he refused the what did he refuse an extension? And did I see that on Twitter today? Refused an extension for the Rockets, so like he doesn't want to be there, I guess. I would take Oladipo. I've really liked Oladipo for a while. I'm not gonna lie. Raisin says still need more from Kemba. I don't know how we get more. What? How do you want more from a guy 21 and 8 tonight? His shooting numbers are all right. He could have made a couple more shots. I'll give you that. But the more, I think, just has to be the consistency. I'll take 21 and 8 out of Kemba every single day. He had 5 rebounds, too. This is a good Kemba night to me. But I hear you because it's still the question of inconsistency. That's what it comes down to. Kale says, how are we supposed to believe in Langford? Haven't had the chance to evaluate. That's why I don't get and I'm all for, like, having hope. I'll give you the hope. But for some people to say in the chat always that, he's going to be huge for this team. Because he was a lottery pick? Are we banking on that? We really banking on that just because he was a lottery pick? Look at this beer, by the way. Wow, I would not have bought this if I knew the name beforehand. Dead Guy Ale. Please let me live till next stream. The stream's growing each and every game. Please let me make it. But I don't even know what we were talking about. That just threw me off. Talk about just like buying something and barely looking at the bottle. Yikes. CS saying Neesmith over Romeo. Yeah, like just based on what we've even seen out of the little bit of Romeo and I guess I can say the little bit of Neesmith, who do you want to work out more? This Romeo who like you don't even know what he can do. Good, efficient defender, or a guy that's supposed to be a sharp shooter, can score multiple ways, clearly works hard. Like I'm leaning towards Neesmith. Neesmith is the guy that I think his true potential, the guy that works out, does more for a team. Sergio saying getting Oladipo would be insane. I'd love Victor Oladipo here. I mean, I know, you get the question of, oh, it's another wing, starter. Like, how's that going to work? Shots are going to go around. I'm never concerned about, like, enough shots to go around. Do I think Victor Oladipo, like, is the best guy out there? Probably not, but you are, and I'm a green teamer. Look at the lights. I got a Celtics, Teddy Celtic, no big deal. Pick it up, GuyBostonSports.com. Hoodie on. I'm a green teamer, but to say you wouldn't take a guy like Oladipo, and I'm not saying anyone in the chat's saying that. I'm just saying, how could you pass that up? Gear saying, how would you feel about DeRozan? I love DeRozan. I think I might be biased towards him. Like, I watched him, he was a dunker contest. He was dunker contest. In the dunk contest, he was a dunker, turned into a really, really smooth player. I really do like him. And I know I saw his name get thrown around. I would love him on this team. Again, it's another name that people will be like, oh, how's he going to fit into the lineup? It's just more shots to go. He's going to take shots away. Give me the stars. You know what I mean? Like, it depending on the price, obviously. But I think anyone could make this team better. This team has a lot of flaws. And, even though you're not directly, addressing maybe the flaw of the bench by getting DeRozan, obviously you get DeRozan, he starts, you bump, like, Marcus Smart down into the bench. Like, I think the depth comes with adding anyone at the top. New says, how hard will it be for Brad to eventually dump Taco? It's got to happen this summer, right? If Taco doesn't improve or do anything like that, I'm going to hate to see him go because he has that one thing, he can't teach height, but it's true. And you're going to see him go somewhere else, then he could be a utility tool. And you see, like, Boban Marjanovic, I think I just nailed that name. You see him playing in Dallas, and I don't see why Taco couldn't be him. So, I don't know. I wish Taco could play, but I say it over and over again. I think if he plays, then you're taking minutes away from Robert Williams. If they could figure out a way to work around it, then I would go for it. But I think Taco could be playable, but that's as far as I go. Playable. Dean says, let's string two more together leading into the break. Have a nice week, all. Ian says, if Romeo gets healthy, he can be a wing in this team's rotation. Keep him or Nesmith, move the other. I think that's a good plan. When I said I'm leaning Nesmith, like it's a toss-up right now. I want to see who gets better. But giving Romeo the shot, I'll say this, regardless of what he is, give him the shot over, Semi Ojeleye. Give him the shot over Javonte Green. Give him the shot over Grant Williams. That's where I come out on it. Because he is a lottery pick. He is still young. Back from surgery now. Whenever he gets back, he's going to be, ready to go and all healthy. Give him a shot at least. So, I'm in on that. Ubi says Oladipo wants to go to Miami. I don't know how that would work, though. I don't know the details of it either. Let's see. Hayden says, what's the story behind the Celtics Teddy? This is the Teddy Celtic merch. The story behind it is I put a lot of, almost a month of work into figuring out something unique, sort of like a character, I guess, for, our store and whatnot. And this is what we came up with. I wish there's a better story behind it, but it's got, it's Teddy Celtic. He's wearing the Boston jersey. He's got a little arm sleeve stitched in. It's really, really premium quality. If you do want to, go pick it up, definitely go do it at GuyBostonSports.com/store. This is the best stuff we've ever produced. There's literally not been a negative review or anything on it since we've sent them out and shipped. I mean, they sell out pretty quickly. We restock them, but I wish there was a better story behind it. But it's just unique. Like, when I launched this, I was like, are people going to think I'm, like, a loser for putting a teddy bear in a Celtics jersey on a hoodie? I know it's kind of, like, weird, and people just loved it. Raisin says, I'll happily take Oladipo, would make us a legit contender and fill the Hayward gap. Yeah, 100%. Kale says, Teddy merch plug was smooth. I mean, that was. I was thinking that, too. I just rambled that off. No stuttering. Grade A level speaking here. DeRozan isn't a three-point guy, and I think that sets him back a little bit. Yeah, he's not. But I think he's still set, I think he makes his team better. You know what I mean? Kellen saying, good win tonight. Only issue I had was Nesmith should have gotten Semi's minutes. Yeah, Semi did make the big shot, but Nesmith not playing after how he's been playing. I just don't get how some of these young guys are going to, learn or react to these games. Nesmith, by not playing tonight, was pretty much told all of this hustle and the grind that you've been putting in the past 5 games, averaging, just under 6 points and 3 rebounds a game. All of that work, don't worry about it. No, that stuff doesn't matter. We're going to play Grant Williams over you. And he's going to go leave a little doo-doo on the court, and that's still better than you playing, Aaron. Like, what is Brad Stevens telling Nesmith by not playing him tonight? I just don't get it. Oh, is it a matchup issue? It's not always a matchup thing in the NBA. You just play the guys that deserve to be played and figure out the matchups next. News says, got to agree, need better outside shooting. Yeah, I just think he's good. I think he's really good, DeRozan. Like, I know he's not a shooter. I get that they need shooters too. Like, I hear that, but I think he's good enough to be good without the shooting. I would take DeRozan in a heartbeat. I would, depending on the price, obviously. Greg says, you cannot let Taco walk. He literally is good. When he plays and huge, you can either trade Tice or Thompson, let Taco get his minutes. He's an automatic double-double with like 2 to 7 blocks. I'm kind of on board. I know that, Greg, I think you lean towards overhyping Taco a little bit, but not by much. Like, Taco Fall's big enough that he could be like a Boban out there or anything like that. Like, Taco is going to get better as he plays. He's huge. He really isn't like that uncoordinated for his size either. He's got some things to learn. Like, he catches it up here and will bring it down here so the 5'6" guys can get it. But you can learn that. So I don't want to see Taco walk, but I'm afraid Brad's just never going to give him a shot. And what, are you going to just hold him on to be a fan favorite? So it really comes down to him being able to fit into the rotation. And I think that that's a matter of who else is on the team and who Brad's going to play over him. Sergio's saying Boban also took time, so I agree, but it depends on what Taco improves. I honestly think Taco could be playable right now. I'm not saying he's like gonna, be in the plus or plus minus or give you a double every single night like Greg, you said, but I don't think he's gonna get there without playing, and he's not playing on the Celtics so far, so it kind of stinks. Let's see. Ian says, what position do you think they should add at the deadline? I think scoring power forward, then Smart off the bench. I think you could go, scoring power forward if they want to beef up the starting lineup a little bit, but I'm thinking just anything on the wing if they wanted to get multiple things for the bench. Those Grant Williams, those Semi Ojeleye, those Javonte Green minutes all need to go. This team isn't winning a championship with Javonte Green playing 33 minutes. I know there's injuries that add to this, so don't go down my neck here. But Javonte Green, 33 minutes. Semi Ojeleye, 20 minutes. Grant Williams, 6 minutes. Like, that's a lot of minutes that you've played guys that really don't deserve to be playing on winning teams. And I think the comment, it stems back earlier. Someone says, why do you give hate for Semi? He'd be a good 10th man. That's the issue, that Semi is a good 10th man that you don't need to go to every single night. He is. Semi Ojeleye is a good 10th man, but when he's your freaking 6th man some nights, now you got problems. Raisin says, play Taco more instead of Semi, Grant, and Green. I don't know why you don't just give him a shot, right? Like, okay, this is a weird sort of game I'm going to play in my head. If the Celtics aren't making trades to try and go win a championship right now, right, then it tells me they're really not championship focused right now. They're just trying to upward project and get better and better. Because if they roll with this team, they're not winning a championship. If that's the case, and I'm just assuming no trades are being made here, who knows what's going to happen, then why aren't you giving Robert Williams more minutes and even Taco Fall more minutes? Why aren't you, and Nesmith like tonight, why aren't you giving the guys that actually show some potential or growth? Why aren't you just playing them? Like, why are you holding them back from something as if they're going to mess up this amazing system you have going on? Doesn't make sense to me. Ubi says, I'm off the Grant train. Dude, just sucks. Time to move him. Agreed. Taco is too slow. Needs to increase the mobility, and then I think he's playable. I think he's just so big that he could be playable now. But again, I don't want people to think I'm overhyping Taco. Playable is as far as I would go. And that might be too far. Matt saying it's most often a matchup issue due to the NBA. No one at that level is finding out they aren't playing after a jump ball. Game prep goes into this. I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. We've heard interviews from players and whatnot, and Brad Stevens has talked about it too. Like, I think Brad Stevens literally tells everyone to get ready, and then they'll see. Because I'll tell you what, there's been multiple times, and it kind of drives me nuts, that Grant Williams is on the bench and did not play the entire game in these situations. He's got a massage gunner going at his leg, going at his calf. If you know you're not touching the floor, what the hell are you massaging and stretching for? I think that, sadly, I think that there's plenty times where guys, maybe they think that they're not going to play that much. I'll give you that. But I think that there's times where guys are literally like, whoa, I just didn't play. Like, I would be shocked if Aaron Nesmith walked onto the court tonight and said, okay, I already know I'm not playing. I've been playing really well, been really, really getting better the last few games, so I already know I'm not playing. That's tough. But you could be right. New says, y'all sound like Danny Ainge is overvaluing our assets. Taco is not good enough. I don't think he's good enough, but he's not going to get... Taco Fall is not going to get any better not playing. And again, this is only starting because I think you guys brought up the Taco talk. I don't want to be on the hook for saying Taco Fall is the best center in the NBA right now. I said Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson, and Robert Williams were like the three bigs that you can work together. I don't want to be on the hook for the defending Taco here. I do think he's playable, though. Always, maybe not. Is he going to get better sitting on the bench? No, so that's where it comes in with the word playable. But fair. Duly noted news. Gear says, as a shooter, the worst thing that can happen is a coach taking you out when you're hot. Guys like Robinson didn't get better by sitting on the bench. Fair. Facts. Ian says, I love Taco, and he'll be a 2 to 3 center. Only downfall is having a base zone defense around him. Yeah. Kellen saying, I really want Boogie in Boston. I think he could re-jump his career here. I think he would give them attitude at the very least. And he'd instantly become, I think he could replace Tice. Tough night to say that. Tice went off. But that would be the big man he takes minutes from. Gabe says, no Red Claws hurt Taco's development and miss more of an opportunity for getting minutes. That is an underrated thing, too. Taco was killing it in the Red Claws last year, too, and didn't get that opportunity this year. Ubi says, and because I think the Red Claws, I think you had to opt into the G League this year, and I don't think the Red Claws did. The G League was delayed. I might have those facts completely wrong. For some reason, that's in the back of my brain that there is no Red Claws at all because they didn't opt in. But I think overall, the G League was delayed or something. I honestly forget. Ubi says, Semi's a good free agent, not even a good 10th man. Probably leans more towards that than a good 10th man. I guess I'm pumping air in Semi's tires now. Gear says, closing game with Javonte and Semi is funny. Kevin saying, Celtics going to lose to the little title to the Rangers. Very unfortunate. Love the trolls. I mean, come on. Love the trolls. CS says, Taco is fun to watch, but will get killed in a high pick and roll guarding multiple. Yeah, agreed. I feel like I've jumped on the Taco train unnecessarily here. Now I'm the face of it. Raisin says Thad Young, Barnes, and Bertans maybe. I would take any of those guys. Probably in the order of Barnes, Bertans, and then Thad Young. Ben says put Taco on roids. Hayden says any coupons for the GBS store. Yeah, you can use code. It's my podcast code right now, but code UNL. And if that doesn't work, it's just unleashed the words. But code UNL, I think you can hook you up with something. Ian says rather Boogie as a free agent or Drummond in a trade. I think Drummond's gonna get bought out though. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed I know there's a report today about him, but as far as I know, they were going to buy him out in Cleveland. So, then he's technically a free agent. All right. A couple more comments and we're going to close down the stream for tonight. Guys, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Make sure you're subscribing if you're new and liking the stream as well. We got a lot going on the channel lately. Greg says, not overhyping. It's just he is too big for guys. You also see 7'9" player that could easily be 8 feet with a chiropractor. Gear says, honestly, only Grant or Semi should be on the team. Need for both of them. There's no need for both of them. Hayden saying, as long as Kemba focuses on facilitating when his shot is off, I'm happy to have him, especially when he draws charges and all that. Kemba's been great. Other than that 14 point in the loss, I think Kemba's been great as of late. Obviously, he's going to have shortcomings to his game, no pun intended. But when Kemba Walker is playing well, the Celtics play well. That's why I'm not on the trade Kemba train. A few more comments. Like I said, Gear saying it's so frustrating just because Neesmith wants to be more of a shooter. Brad's holding him back. I think so. If he's not playing, he's being held back. I don't care how someone wants to defend it. Ubi says Boogie and Smart have fought on the court. I don't think he's coming to Boston. I think those are two guys that are yeah, we've gotten into it, but hey, we're on the same team now, Bash Brothers style. I feel like Tristan Thompson and Marcus Smart have gotten into it with each other before. I might be making that up, but Tristan Thompson, Marcus Smart, and DeMarcus Cousins, that's a team with some attitude. And I would take that at this point because this team, I know we got to win tonight, but this team has showed some gutless play this year. Guy was referencing Celtics versus Rangers in Scottish Premier League. Womp womp was appropriate. I don't know if it's appropriate. Maybe I just shit on his soccer fandom then. I think I kind of want to take that womp womp back. I thought he was trolling, saying that it was Little League. He said Little League in his comment. Kylan says, we'll do something good, and Brad says, statistics do something different. Yeah, he simulates, and then all of a sudden it's poof, whatever you did doesn't matter. Ubi says, I think these 2 games are the best 2 games Kemba has played this season, so hopefully he's back. I hope so, too. I just can't say he's officially back until he's playing back-to-backs. Again, I'm going to say that over and over again because it's amazing wordplay that I came up with. Maybe, you know what? That bad joke that I've said twice now deserves the womp womp, all right? Gear says, when Romeo comes back, I'm ready to overreact to everything he does. Hey, Gear, just don't get trapped in the Grant Williams trap. That's what everyone was doing preseason with Grant Williams and how much he was going to be good and whatnot. Now they're all, eating crow. Let's see. Kale saying there has to be a level of respect for that. Gear saying I would take Crowder back in a heartbeat. I think you'd give him attitude. Someone say that there was a rumor about Drummond to the Celtics. I think his name, Kale, was in the list that came out today of potential landing spots for Drummond. Gear says dude might be in the wrong Celtics postgame show. I'll take that opportunity to end the show, guys. You guys have all been in the only Celtics postgame show, and I know there's a couple of them. The only Celtics postgame show that we have actually a good time in, and at least whenever we're reacting to wins or losses, we always have a ball here. So shout out to the Celtics for taking the win. We'll get another applause. And shout out to everyone for tuning in tonight. If you're not subscribed, I'll say it again. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you are liking these streams and, watching them. Get the views up. We got the sub count going. This stream is growing each and every night, so appreciate everyone tuning in. And let's keep going, Celts. Another 2 games, we got a discount code. Another 2 games, we got a discount code for the store, 40% off. So let's get a couple dubs here, Celtics, and everyone can be rocking the Teddy Celtic merch. We'll see you guys in the next stream.